How has Choosy misled customers?
The case that ASIC has filed today alleges that Choosy's misled customers by representing on its website, in television advertising, on the radio and in social media posts, that it is comparing products from a range of insurers. I think the language it uses are from a leading range of insurers, and our concern and the allegations in the case are that that is not in fact the case. Choosy is only comparing one insurer, Hanover Insurance, and so we're concerned that the representations to those consumers who looked at the website and heard that advertising have been misled.
Would you say customers have been ripped off?
Whether or not customers have been ripped off, what they certainly have been, we're alleging, is misled. So if you take funeral insurance as an example, the statements made to consumers are that there will be a range of insurers that are compared, and we know with the funeral insurance what was really happening is there were only 3 products that were being compared, and they were all from the same insurer. And for life insurance there were only 5 policies actually being compared, again all from the same insurer. So we say the allegation in this case are that those consumers have been misled.
What is the link between Choosy and Hanover?
Hanover paid Choosy over the course of this conduct, and our court documents allege about $61 million in commissions. So from a consumer's perspective, they've come onto a website, they're told we will compare a range of products from a number of leading insurers, and then what we really know is that there were not, or what we're alleging, is that there were not a number of leading insurers or multiple insurers being compared. There was but one insurer, and interestingly that insurer paid Choosy over the course of this conduct about $61 million in commissions and payments. So that's the connection between Hanover and Choosy. Sort of in reality what we're seeing here is the Choosy platform really being used by Hanover as just a platform to distribute its products, with no comparison going on with other insurers at all. That's the case that we are alleging.
ASIC says this could have impacted more than 14,000 customers. Could they receive compensation as a result of ASIC's court action?
So in terms of who's been affected by this, we know that this was a very widespread advertising campaign by Choosy over many years. So this conduct dates back to the middle of 2019, and we certainly think that there are millions of people that would have been exposed to the advertising over that sort of 5-6 year period, and we know there have been thousands of policies that have been sold. Now, whether or not any of those people who brought those policies are entitled to any kind of remediation from Choosy, that really is something for Choosy and something that we might sort of work our way through during the court process.
I've seen concerns expressed online from as far back as 2013 that Choosy has been misrepresenting its services to retail clients. Why has it taken this long for ASIC to bring court action?
We look at these kind of sites on a reasonably regular basis, and in fact this came to our attention through a surveillance that we were doing in relation to this direct sale of funeral insurance products, and we've seen some really concerning conduct more broadly in relation to the sale of funeral insurance. So this came to our attention just a year or so ago, these particular set of representations, and we've actually moved on that very quickly. I think we started an investigation in the middle of last year, and we have filed court proceedings today. So, less than a 12-month investigation.
What penalties does Choosy itself face?
We're at an early stage of the court process, and we need to go through the court. Choosy needs to look at these allegations and decide whether or not it wants to admit them or to contest them. Certainly though, if the court finds in ASIC's favour, it will be important for us to seek substantial penalties, and that is to send a message to Choosy, but also, as importantly, to send a message to the broader industry and others that run comparison websites, that if you want to run these kind of sites, then you certainly have to be very open and transparent with consumers about what it is that you're comparing. And as I've said, we allege in this case that Choosy's conduct has fallen well short of that.
Is this an ongoing area of interest for ASIC? And do you expect to commence further court actions against other companies?
We are certainly always monitoring these kind of issues, and if you think about insurance at the moment, we know that people are finding it difficult to afford insurance, difficult to access insurance, and so comparison websites could play a really important role in helping consumers with what is out there and helping them choose the products that are best for them. So we are constantly sort of on the lookout and monitoring this kind of conduct, and we certainly will continue to do so.
Is Choosy still portraying itself today as a comparison website with a limited pool of policies all underwritten by Hanover?
Well, look, I had a look on the Choosy website, just a day or so ago, and on the landing page on the website to this day, or as I say, within the last couple of days, it was certainly still stating quite clearly on the website that it compares products from a range of leading insurers. So, that is remains a concern for us, and this court case really relates to conduct, as I say, right back from 2019, but right up until the present day.
Can the website be shut down, and should it be?
Look, it's not for us to shut down Choosy's website. The role that we are doing, or the job for us, is to take Choosy to court and make these allegations and see if a court agrees with the case that we are putting. Very much up to Choosy as to what it decides to do in response to ASIC's allegations, and that includes what changes it might want to make to its those statements on its website as we speak.
So just finally, what should people using comparison websites keep in mind?
Comparison websites can have an important role. We think that they can be great for a consumer, whether looking at insurance or electricity prices or a whole range of things, really for them to start start comparing. And we know that these things are time consuming and, frustrating and often complex for consumers to do. But people do need to be wary about these sites. They are effectively commercial businesses. They make money in certain ways. So with Choosy, it was from getting commissions paid to it from the one insurer whose products it was selling. So you just need to do your homework, do some due diligence, and perhaps when you've found the top couple of policies, just double check them, look at the PDSs and do that due diligence. But none of that takes away from the fact that anyone that is a commercial provider offering a comparison website, you have to be upfront with what it is you are comparing. You need to be transparent with any consumer that's coming on to use your site.
Sarah Court, thank you.
Thanks for having me on.